Right, so believe it or not, I'm here. I have no idea how the sound is like. Let me know if it's good or not. I will not show any skin during this particular stream due to the fact that I had to reformat my computer. I suspect Diablo 4 may be to blame, but I can't really prove that is the case. I was installing Diablo 4 and then I get the blue screen of death. And I'm told that I need to reinstall Windows. So I spent around 30 minutes trying to get it to work. And after 30 minutes, it finally managed to work. But then I had all the updates that I needed to put, so I had to reinstall everything. And I didn't get around to making the webcam functional. So yeah, no skin. Is it Destiny? I do not know. But at least the graphics card did not melt. I was a little bit worried about that. Thank you, Midwest Finest, for waiting with everyone else. It is what it is. I don't know. I generally don't know what caused it. I never had it happen before, but I needed to format my computer anyway. Still, I didn't want to do it when I had the live stream going because I got locked up from the program. So I couldn't stop the live stream. I couldn't delay it. Horrible. Okay. What do we talk about today? See, I don't even have Twitter installed. Like, if I try to log on Twitter in order to get some news, it asks me for a password. And the problem is, like, who remembers what password they had on Twitter? Let's react to a video. You know, like this is something that I can do. Tell me
Olivia,
if you guys can hear this.
Karen Marjorie. I'm currently getting ready.
Hold on.
For a work
line, which is just pretty big
Oh
disappointment.
shit, I can't hear it either. I don't think I can even react to a video because I can't hear shit.
Intelligence, it's here,
speakers.
it's happening, and in all likelihood, it is here to stay. They are using AI for basically everything nowadays, from personal assistant.
Let me know if you guys can hear that so that we can actually begin talking about it. There is no echo? Oh. Things could be worse. At least the dam supplying cooling water to your nuclear power plant is in one piece. What, like you're in a place where that is no longer the case? Yeah, I know that the video can't be seen. Hold on. So this one is particularly interesting. It's called AI girlfriends are creepy and weirdly popular. And we have the facial expression of deep concern. This is how I would identify this look. You know, I really need to name the name of the test where you're basically trying to see if people can understand human emotions. And they show you like different faces. They will show you like someone that's cross. They will show you someone that's smiling. If I see this face, deep concern. AI girlfriends are creepy and weirdly popular. You know what's creepy and weirdly popular? Dildos. No, unironically, right? No one wants to talk about them, but dildos exist, right? And there is an entire industry, which means that people buy them. Now, aren't dildos creepy and weirdly popular? Like, it's the shape of a man's genital organ. Like, you don't even need the man himself. You just need that particular thing, and you're happy. Now, does that mean that they will replace men? Does that mean that I should feel worried that women have access to the replica? No. But for some reason, every single time you hear about like a robot that looks like a woman or an AI that talks like a women are deeply concerned. How much confidence do you not have? Like, if you genuinely think that text on a screen is able to outcompete you, then maybe you should do some self-reflection. Maybe you should just sit there and say, like, why is it that some text on a screen... What do you disagree with, Yuana? I'm genuinely curious. Like, what did I say that's controversial? I would say that if I thought for a second that text on a screen can replace me as a human being, I would have deep reflection to do, right? Like, there is no way that just letters on a screen can replace the presence of a man. I do not believe that. We're talking about relationship, right? Because like they can replace your job. If you're a writer for Hollywood, like that can happen. A dildo cannot pay for my child, though. Oof. That is true. But neither can an AI. But no, like the idea is that we're not talking about children, because most of these conversations, they happen between, well, they're more like for people who are teenagers, right? Who are still in the dating scene, and they're still worried that, well, I will never get a date because like all the men are going to use AI waifus. These kids need to live with communism for 5 years, but no longer than that, it would be inhumane. It is so fucking true, though. Like, more than 5 years of communism, it would be inhumane. A husband is supposed to pay for the child. Wrong! Both men and women are supposed to pay for the child. Anyway, let's listen to her arguments. I was talking, by the way, I wasn't talking about Lauren Chen up until now. I was talking about in general, right? Like, the concept. Because I keep hearing, like, this fear-mongering. It's like, oh my god, men have an AI waifu. Oh, Dios mío, what do we do? It's very bizarre, isn't it? Let's see.
Hey, Olivia, it's your girlfriend, Karen Marjorie. I'm currently getting ready for a workout class with some of my fitness influencer friends in Beverly Hills. What have you been up to today?
So in case you weren't already aware of it, be assured that we are in fact living in a dystopia. But what's kind of a letdown is that instead of something cool...
I love the fact that you can just make the argument we live in a dystopia. I really hate this thing. Like, just pick a time in human history and see how people live there. Right? Like they went from world wars. The concept of eating a banana in the middle of the winter was foreign to them. The idea that you can shit inside your house, that's also a novelty. Like, unless you were in a palace where they had like this interesting, like you can watch on National Geographic to see how they actually had like places in the palace where they shat in and it went outside. But no, like usually people have to go outside in a pivot to shit, and that sounds nasty in and of itself because it smells bad. But imagine like if it's raining really hard outside, or if it's the middle of the winter with minus 20 degrees and you gotta go to that pivot to take a shit. Horrible, right? We don't deal with that anymore. I mean, like even those things are so foreign to us that most people don't even know what a pivot is. I'm willing to bet that there are people that don't even know how to draw one, right? So to claim that now we live in a dystopia, no, we don't. We live in the best time period, I would say, even in human existence, right? The reason people are afraid and they're freaked out about politics and shit is because they do not want to lose what we have. Because the way things are going, it seems that we may lose the things we have. But like, other than that, no, I would not want to live in any other time in human history than it is today. And I live in Romania, which is not the best nation in the world, so it means like there are other places that have it even better than me. But I'm happy with what I got. Dystopia, no. Degeneracy, yes. See, that's another thing. Like, you can choose not to have a degenerate lifestyle. Like, you can choose to have a wholesome lifestyle. Like, that's another thing, you know, like, no one is going to force you. Unless, of course, you happen to have a job at a corporation and the HR is trying to indoctrinate you into their way of seeing things and their corporate culture. But other than that, no, like, you can literally choose to live your life the way you want to. Not culturally speaking, but I agree with your point generally. You know, like, I do think that every single time there were cultural issues, like no matter when you would live, you would have things to complain about. Like, I don't think like there was a time in human history where people were like, yeah, the culture is great, man. I love everything about it. Like, there's nothing to complain. Everything is perfect. You know, like, even when... even when things were more to the right, like people would complain, oh, well, things aren't religious enough. And I mean, look, if you want to talk about the culture, imagine living during the Cold War, right? Where you're literally afraid that the Russians may bomb your country, and people were so panicked about it that they spent money building bunkers. Like, can you imagine that? Like, someone would spend a lot of money in order to, like, build a shelter, a bombing shelter in their backyard, which, by the way, wouldn't protect them anyway because the radiations were not very nice. Like see, the thing about the nuclear bombs is that I would be more afraid of the aftermath than the bomb itself. Because like in the aftermath, all right, so all the ATMs aren't working, electricity is down, you have absolutely no way of getting means of transportation because like the cars and everything else is shut down. Yeah, it would be horrible. Like the supermarkets would not be able to provide you with food and stuff. So on top of that, you have the radiation fallout. But still, you know, I guess like I would rather, what I'm trying to say is that I'm glad I live now. Even if there's a war literally over my border. I've seen Indiana Jones. Get me a refrigerator and I will survive the nuclear winter. Yes. Alright, so yeah, I disagree with the premise that we live in a dystopia. I genuinely do. I mean, this lady herself, right, like the entire job which she is doing, which is to be an online commentator, you could not do this 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago, her job didn't exist. You would not be able to make money by being in front of a camera in your own bedroom and just talking to people.
Cool, like zombies or space pirates or alien overlords. Instead, we are living in the AI girlfriend sex bot timeline, which is just pretty...
You know, I will tell you something else about the AI sex bot timeline. When I was a kid, you had like these phone calls that you could call. Like it was the middle of the night, you had these commercials. And they would give you like a phone number. And it was called the hotline. Yes, the hotline. But it was like the hotline between Moscow and Washington. It was called the hotline because on the other side of the phone, allegedly there should have been an ushikushi waifu, which would talk to you. And she would do ASMR and stuff, right? Like custom-based. Trying to fulfill your fantasy wishes and desires. And it was very expensive. Right, like if you called that number for like 2 minutes, you had to pay a lot. But there were a lot of people that were addicted to that. But my point is, like, how is that different than an AI waifu? Now you can say, well, yeah, but the woman on the other side of the line was real. And I'm like, yeah, sure, but you would never meet her, you would never date her, you would never actually go out with her. You know, it was a job. Probably she was a woman that was a little bit corpulent as well, like a little bit chunkla. Like she was very chunkla on the other side, but she managed to have the voice that was of a goddess. And yeah, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that these services, where you could, you know, pay in order to have like a waifu, existed since before in different formats. Sure, you know, the technology wasn't there. But I would like to point out that the houses of tolerance, as they're called, were legal in most of Europe before World War II, right? Like, the communists actually got rid of the brothels. But before World War II, like, there were actual business establishments where you could catch a venetic illness, but they would have, like, these places with whores, and you would go and you would pay, just like in Game of Thrones, right? So, like, don't give me the bullshit that, oh, things are so bad now. Like back then, people could genuinely have, like, real sex if they wanted to. Like, there were businesses, it was perfectly legal, right? Like, you would pay a fine, you would go in there, and you would satisfy your needs. In fact, like, we still have that today, but it's a lot more of a stigma. Like, back then, there wasn't even that much of a stigma, because, again, like, those places operated in broad daylight. Like, they weren't illegal or anything. The AI waifu provides actual support. It's also interesting because they talk about the AI waifu, but they don't mention the fact that women can benefit from them as well. Like, you have AI husbandos too. It's not just the waifu. We are very close to several of the triggers of both world wars. Yeah, kinda. I mean, the China and Taiwan situation is concerning. I do agree. She's pretty, but Jesus, easy on the makeup. I think it's a problem of self-confidence here. Like, if you're literally worried about text on the screen, that you know, like you're going to be less popular because AI exists, then you need to have a little bit more confidence. You need to believe in yourself a little bit more.
Big disappointments. If you've been keeping up with the news, you will know that AI, artificial intelligence, it's here, it's happening, and in all likelihood, it is here to stay. They are using AI for basically everything nowadays, from personal assistants to logo design, art, heck, even deep fakes, voice actors may be going out of business, and not to mention there's the whole issue of deep fake pornography. I mean, AI already has a ton of different ethical considerations, but when you get into that rabbit hole, it's just like nothing good can come from it.
What do you mean like nothing good can come from it? Have you seen how good the AI writes? I mean, compared to the Hollywood writers that we've been plagued with recently, I do say that the AI... And by the way, like, this whole thing with AI pornography and deepfakes, these things existed for quite a while. I mean, there are TED Talks about the CIA using masks that are so realistic you wouldn't be able to tell that the person you're sitting with is actually a different individual because they have, like, these very realistic masks on top of their head. But, like, not even that. Like, you have Photoshop. So Photoshop has existed for a while. And back in the day when you had, like, 4 pixels on a screen, it was very difficult to tell. But there have been, like, a lot of Photoshop pornography where they take, like, the actress's face and they put it on a different body, right? Like, none of this is new. You can say that it's a little bit more perfected, in the sense that it looks a lot better, but nothing is new. Yeah, I mean, 3D art, you know, like before the AI came along, you could have like 3D art and there were like realistic depictions of Tifa. You know, like people could have done this with actors if they so wanted, but like, why have an actor when you can have Tifa from Final Fantasy, you know? So I am not concerned about this. This is just like fear-mongering. Like, I heard all these talking points and I disagree with them.
And in a similar vein, we now also have AI girlfriends. That's right, we've now reached a level where technologically these AI entities are able to consume thousands of hours of an individual creator's content and then create a chatbot based off of their personality and heck can even sound like them. And so now...
Yeah, I mean, this used to be called LARPing. Like, you could have an actual person do that. Furries have been doing it for the last decade or so. Like, you just have a person that roleplays as someone else. And not to mention, online relationships were toxic to begin with, and they were quite common. Like, you had a lot of people that went through online relationships, and it's like, the guy is from Sweden, and she's from the United States, and they're talking with each other, and they're pretending that they're in a relationship. It's toxic, right? Because, like, you're never going to see that person, chances are. Even if you are, it's not going to be meaningful in any way. But you're getting that dopamine rush. You're tricking the brain into believing that there's someone else out there that cares about you. And for those people, it probably feels very real. It probably feels that there is just genuine love there. And there isn't, right? Then you can move on to, like, the schizos with the VTuber community and the Twitch girls and all of that. You know, like, all their subscribers believe they're rich. I do not see how AI is more harmful than that. I genuinely don't. Like if you have a relationship that's long distance and you will never interact with that person face to face, how is it different? It's still text on the screen. That's what it is. It's text on the screen. Why are we fear-mongering about text on the screen? Oh, it's because one is randomized by a computer and the other one is typed by another human being. Who fucking cares?
Now at least one influencer has actually monetized this concept and is marketing an AI chatbot of herself as an AI girlfriend to her fans, and she's making a lot of money off of it. To further explain what...
Yeah, I mean, women making money online by profiting off of men's sexual needs. I mean, that is an industry that just it shouldn't happen. Like, it shouldn't happen under any other circumstance, you know? It's almost like we live in a world where a lady sold her bathwater to people and she made tens of thousands of dollars. And we're now supposed to be shocked that another woman is making an AI that has her personality and is sending it to her subscribers. You know, I will tell you this, though. The bathwater is actually more icky and disgusting. Like, this could actually be more wholesome and it may actually help some people. Like, some people that are suffering from depression or, you know, like, don't know how to communicate with women. Maybe that shit can help them, I don't know. But, like, if they're a shot-in and they're going to be a shot-in anyway, if that thing brings a little bit more joy into their life, so be it. Oh my god, the woman is making money by selling an AI of herself. Oh, wow. Like, she should go on OnlyFans and sell her pictures. That's a lot more progressive, isn't it?
What I mean, we have this article from Decrypt. You see, quote, with 1.8 million followers on Snapchat. By the way, am I just old and out of touch? I thought people stopped using Snapchat when Instagram got Instagram stories, but apparently people are still on Snapchat. Okay, I guess. Anyway, Karen Marjorie, age 23, has a vast audience, and Karen AI, her digital doppelganger, developed by the AI company Forever Voices, is helping her achieve and profit from things that are not otherwise physically possible. She now has over 1,000 virtual boyfriends who pay $1 per minute to engage in all kinds of interactions, from simple chit-chat to making plans for their futures together and even more intimate exchanges. It's explained that her AI-powered alter ego has raked in $71,610 in revenue, according to Fortune, that is, in just 1 week, and she expects to make around $5 million per month if just 20,000 of the 1.8 million dudes who follow her on Snapchat subscribe to Karen AI. Regarding the technology behind this, it's written that the Forever Voices team trained the Karen AI model by analyzing 2,000 hours of Marjorie's now deleted YouTube content to build her speech and personality engine. They then used GPT-4 to create the most lifelike version of Marjorie, providing not just believable responses, but interactions that are based on an extensive dataset of Karen's own natural behavior. And forebodingly, it's also noted that the company has also created chatbots of other famous influencers. Specifically, I'm not...
Right, so the only problem that I have with this is that those people are being ripped off. You can do the same with character AI. Like, you don't really need to have, to pay, like, per minute, $1 per minute, or how about, was it, like, the incredibly expensive amount of cash. There are free options, is what I'm trying to say. And as time moves on, you're basically going to be able to have your AI waifu on your phone. And if you use an actual internet personality for an AI waifu, you're dumb. Okay? Like, I will label you, I will judge you, you are dumb. You should use an anime girl, right? Because they're wholesome. Like, anime girls, they're pure, they're innocent, right? Why would you use a real human being? Like, if you're going to go with the fake option, might as well do it properly. You know, like, for example, anime girls don't have abortion. Alright, like, just contradict me on this one. Is there any anime where the girl has them? No, right? They're wholesome, that's why they don't. Like, they're pure, they're innocent, right? So, like, if you're going to have a waifu, might as well go with the anime. Do not take a real-life person. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself? Right? Like, I understand taking a real-life person for an actual girlfriend or an actual wife, right? Because you don't have choices. But, like, you're going with the fiction option. You're going with the imaginary shit.
I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the streamer Amaranth, who I think is also on OnlyFans. But the other day, I saw a post claiming that she will also be getting, or maybe already has, her own AI girlfriend chatbot. And what look...
How will they do it, though? How will they do it? This is a legitimate question, okay? Because I actually watched a couple of Amaranth streams when it was, like, the controversy with her husband and stuff. And I'm not kidding, chat. I'm not being mean. I'm not being... This is my personal lived experiences with Amaranth's chat. I was bored to tears. Like, literally, there was drool coming out of my mouth. And not for the two reasons that you think. No, like, she literally wasn't saying much. She literally wasn't talking. Like, she was sitting there. At one point, she reached for some water and got hydrated, which is good. But other than that, she barely articulated a sentence. I do not know why... Well, I do know why people watch it. But, like, there are other people that could watch something else, like Shy Lily or some shit. You know, like, again, if you're going to go with the fake, and, like, a girl on your computer screen is not necessarily fake. Like, she exists in real life, but you're never going to interact with her, right? Might as well go with a VTuber. Like, might as well go with Shy Lily or someone. You know, like, just go all out at that point. But my question is, like, how will they make an AI companion of Amaranth, given the fact that there's not much text to go with? Like, it will be a blank screen, won't it? It will be like AI reaches for a glass of water. AI mutes the chat and goes on the phone. AI, you know, like, that would probably be the Amaranth experience. It would be hard to imagine it anyway else. That's called drooling? I was not... Yeah, I mean, I was drooling, but out of boredom. Like, it was genuinely boring. I'm not saying this because I'm married and I don't want my wife to hear that I'm looking at Ushikushi ladies or some shit. No. Like, literally, there was no content. Like, I was looking for the content and I couldn't find it. They watch Amoraph with sound off. Okay, I can understand that visual experience. However, what I do not understand is how can you make an AI based on it? Like, you want to make a chatbot out of a thing that doesn't chat. How is that a thing? Like, how can you manage it?
Looks like an almost ad from the bot. We have this post saying, "Hey there, it's a smiley face. I'm Amaranth, your sexy and playful girlfriend, ready to make our time on Forever Companion unforgettable."
Isn't she married though? Like, that's another question. Like, you will have an AI chatbot of a woman that's married. Like you go out, you ask a girl, and she's like, "No, sorry, I have a boyfriend." So in your fantasy world, right, like the things that you wish you could do but you can't do in real life, your fantasy waifu is also married, but not with you. Isn't that like the most sad thing imaginable? Like, you know, like, imagine such a person. It's kind of like those people that there was a video game where you could be Beyonce's backup dancer. And I was like, what the fuck? So, like, you're telling me that in the video gaming world, you can be anything, right? Like, you can be a knight that saves the princess. You can be a powerful sorcerer that just destroys the land of the necromancer. But there are other people whose fantasy is to be Beyonce's backup dancer. Like, not even Beyonce herself. No. Like, in case she falls down and breaks her leg, then you are the backup dancer and you can back her. Is that what it is? I genuinely, like, find that baffling. Like, there's a plethora of video games that I don't get. It's like Truck Driver Simulator. You know, it's like, but like, you can do that in your life. But fine, you know, like Truck Driver Simulator, I kind of get. You know, like, there are people who really like driving cars. Fine. But then you have, like, being a barista at a Starbucks or serving food at a fast food joint. I'm like, why the fuck would you want to do that? Like, an entire game dedicated to that shit. An entire game dedicated to you just serving burgers to people. Why? Why do people have this as their fantasy, okay? And now I see this version for a chatbot. It's like, here you have a waifu that's already married in real life, but it's yours. Why? She doesn't chat much either.
Let's explore mind-blowing adventures from steamy gaming sessions to our wildest fantasies. Are you excited to join me? Okay, so there's so much to talk about here, and absolutely none of it is good. Just like for humanity, I mean, none of this is good. This is all just terrible stuff. But before I get into, and I'm not exaggerating here, why AI girlfriends could very well be the downfall of humanity, I want to say a big thank you.
Oh my god, like, if you legitimately were concerned that AI girlfriends were the downfall of humanity, you wouldn't thank anyone. You would just make like a fear-mongering video beginning to end. But this is like the modern talking point, isn't it? Oh my god, AI, oh, so concerned. Oh, let me thank my supporters now and
you to today's sponsor, Sheet. If you're not already familiar to refresh.
Oh my god, oh Dios mío, hold on. We got through the sponsorships. Okay. What the fuck is she selling? Men's pants? Okay. Well, I mean, I guess why it's scary and it's the downfall of humanity, because you can get an AI to sell those men's pants. Isn't there an entire episode of Futurama about it? I don't know, I haven't watched Futurama.
Or go to sheathunderwear.com/Lauren for 20%.
Oh my god, how much time does she need to sell the fucking underwear?
It seems like most of these AI girlfriends are actually based off of celebrity personality.
No, like you have Character AI, a company that will spy on you, literally harvest all your data and everything you talk with the companion. But you can make anime waifus. You can make whatever you want. You can have real people if you desire. You can date Elon Musk. It's fine. Like, no, the overwhelming majority aren't based on real personalities. I don't even know why that's a thing, but okay.
The concept of a parasocial relationship, i.e. a relationship where only one party knows the other party and is familiar with them, it's one of the stranger things that social media and internet culture has given us.
As I mentioned before, like there was the hotline. You could call the chica from the other side, and you could have had parasocial relationships back then. I'm pretty sure, like even before that, like people would probably like use the mail system. Like they would connect with a woman from another country and just write letters to each other or something like that. I don't think like the parasocial relationship is as new as people like it to be. It's just more proeminent now because technology has advanced, but I don't think like the internet invented the concept.
And to be clear, I don't think parasocial relationships in all of their forms are necessarily a bad thing. Like if
they are. They absolutely fucking are. Like parasocial relationships are a bad thing. You're just saying this because you have like 548,000 subscribers and there's probably some parasocial relationship. No, they are, okay? The only reason that I understand that I'm not going to say, oh, they need to be banned, is that I don't think like people shouldn't have what's bad for them, you know? Like there are some things that are bad, like smoking, but I wouldn't want to take it away from people. Like if someone is happy with a bad thing, let them have it. You know, like fuck it. I don't care, you know? Like it's not for me. But like, there are so many things that are bad. Sugar, for example, right? Like, too much sugar is bad. Like, if someone wants to chug a box of sugar, I don't care. You know, if they want to be like a horse, high on ivermectin, and just take, like, sugar cubes, that's fine. But like, to say they aren't bad, that's a lie. Alright? Like, you're lying. No, parasocial relationships, in all their forms, under any circumstances, they're a bad thing. They are bad. There is no exception to this. Right, it's one thing when you watch a chiquita on the internet and she's having like a nice content and you're watching it for that, that's fine. But the moment you think that the chiquita cares about you or that she has like a personal relationship with you or that you're more different than her other subscribers, then that's not fine. Alright, like that's the line that I would say. She is using video filter and makeup to complain about fake women. Is that filter? I don't know. But like, yeah, it is what it is. Sargon is disappointed. Well, if Sargon is disappointed on the truth, then what can we do? But it is the truth. No, like the idea of trying to ban everything that's bad for people leads to tyranny, right? Because like everything is bad for you if you think about it. Like name me a thing that isn't bad. Like, let's say you're a truck driver, right? Well, too much truck driving is bad for your health. Like, it ruins your spine. Like, literally everything. Just tell me the thing and I will find the argument why it's bad for you. And then maybe you can find, like, something, like, very, very, benign. Like, something boring and stuff. You know, like, just taking a walk outside. Like, okay, fine. Like, maybe that's not bad. But like, most things are bad for you, some way or another. Looks like Snapchat filter? No, because she said she doesn't use Snapchat. I don't think she's trying to ban it. She just said that it's not, like, parasocial relationships aren't bad for you. And I was like, wait, hold on.
If you listen to a podcast every single day, odds are, yeah, you're going to be familiar with the host of that podcast. Get to know their personality, get to know a little bit about their life, and maybe you will find comfort in spending time with them, i.e. listening to their podcasts every day, and I don't think that's necessarily unhealthy. I mean, in a specific instance like that...
No, but that's not a parasocial relationship, though. Like what you just described is not a parasocial relationship. If you're just listening to a podcast every day, that's not parasocial. Parasocial is when you believe that the person from the podcast cares about you, or that you're different than all his other followers, right? It's and by the way, like parasocial relationships happened before the internet. In the Joker movie, the Joker was having this parasocial relationship with that comedian. Like he thought that, you know, he would be in the crowd and the comedian would like him more than everyone else. That's parasocial. And it uses the television. It doesn't use the internet.
would it really be any different from, for example, someone enjoying rereading a book or even an autobiography? I think as long as we all keep in mind that even though we may be familiar with creators, they are not familiar with us, and that we are only familiar with a forward-facing version of themselves that may or may not be reflective of their actual personality, I don't think parasocial relationships are necessarily the end of the world. However, this AI chatbot scheme, they are really crossing the line here.
Do you know that Amaranth, and I know this from behind the screens, like allegedly, let's put allegedly, had like a team of people that would talk with their biggest donors in order to give them the illusions that they're talking. Like, this is not something that again, this is not new, right? Like being an entertainer and then hiring people to talk with your subscribers. There's many big entertainers that do this. Like, you DM them on Twitter, and there's more people that have access to their Twitter account, and they talk with their subscribers pretending that they're the person that is being DM'd. This is not, like a new tactic. But now I guess like you just have it automized, right? Like the AI doesn't really create anything. It just improves the things that already are. And up until now, I didn't hear anyone like complain about this. It's like, oh my god, well, this streamer is doing this thing. Yeah, sure, some people may say that it's unethical or whatever. But I guess like the AI just removes the how should I say, the facade. You know, it removes the lie. Because now you know it's a program. Now you know it's not the real thing. At least when you talked with the streamer in DMs and you gave them super chats and whatnot, and they would talk and flirt and pretend that they like you so they can get more super chats. That was fake, because on the other hand of the line, you were talking with the guy. Right? So, see, I don't need to hire AI or people because I don't get super chats, so it's fine. Did you see what a snake oil salesman I was? Did you see how smooth? Did you see the e-begging that just happened? Holy shit. Laura used to be really fresh before she went corporate. I haven't watched her. This is the first time I've watched. I don't have anything against her, by the way. It's just like the topics and the ideas that are being discussed. I'm new to the right. What does Laura do? I have no idea. I guess she talks. Don't break my immersion fee. I will.
In my opinion, because not only are you banking on a parasocial relationship and that you are trying to sell things to your supporters, but what you're trying to sell them is a version of yourself. You're trying to sell them access to yourself, but not in just...
Oh, come on. Holy shit. Like, isn't 2023 the year of sex work is real work, and now you're complaining that some people are selling a program that just uses words on a screen? Like, is this the concern? Really? But not to mention, there is honesty here. Like, it's an honest transaction. People know what they're buying. You know what you're selling. Where is the problem? How is it different than OnlyFans? How is it different than actual prostitution? It's legal in some countries. There's no fucking difference. And not to mention, the AI doesn't do lewd things. Because if it's on ChatGPT 4, as you mentioned, OpenAI has a strict not safe for work policy. So you can't even... like, do immersive things with the waifu. I genuinely do not see the issue here.
It's a, hey, let's do a meet and greet kind of way. It's in a, hey...
Hold on, the jester saved me. Thank you for the £1, Jester. I will give you £1 of buyer's remorse. She never said sex work is real work. No, I know she didn't. I didn't say that she did. I say we live in the world where sex work is real work. That's the 2023 ethos. So if I were a conservative and I had a problem, that would probably be like the first thing that I would want to tackle. Because that is a lot more harmful, right? Like, someone's daughter can go on Twitch or on OnlyFans and then sell pictures of her body to other people so that the company OnlyFans can take a cut, right? I would find that to be a little bit more problematic if I was like a right-wing conservative than the fact that there is an AI out there which doesn't even do lewd that people can buy and it just shows text on your screen. I'm not saying that you need to pick and choose either. Like, you can be against all of these things, but like I would say that is far more harmful in a pressing manner than the fact that some e-girl is selling her version of a chatbot.
I will be your online girlfriend type of way, but also it's not even you. What's like the most concerning aspects of a parasocial relationship where there is absolutely a knowledge and power imbalance combined with the worst parts of OnlyFans culture that treats relationships like a transactional thing just based on finances. Let's face it, relations between men and women are already not great, to say the least, in 2023. I mean, young men are increasingly single. They feel driven out of the dating market because of feminism, Me Too culture.
I would also say, like, the reason men are driven out of the dating market is not necessarily because of feminism and dating culture, but it's also because of the dating apps themselves. Like if you were a man 20 years ago, and you wanted to get a date, you would compete with the other men from your circle. And you'd only have access to women from your circle, which was probably your workplace, your university, women that your family knew. And that's pretty much it. But now, you're competing with all the men in your city. So if you're a woman, right, like let's say you're a young woman and you're looking on a dating app, well, you have the guy your age, which is still living with his parents, or you have the other guy, which is like 9 years older, but he's got a car, he's got his own place, he's got his life in order, he's a prestigious doctor or a lawyer or some shit, right? And he's good looking. Like, it's not, from a woman point of view, he can even be good looking, right? So you have like men like that. Why would you ever go out with a man that is your age and is living with his parents? Or is living in a student dorm or something. So because of the supply and demand, because capitalism exists even in the relationship world, you're going to have a lot of men which aren't going to be able to get a date until they're older and get their life in order. And I guess those men are the ones that are going to buy the AI waifu and go on OnlyFans and stuff. Now, sure, you can say that feminism affected the relationship between men and women, but I don't think it's the case, right? Because the relationships are affected even in places where there are no feminism. Like, for example, in my country. Like, in my country, there is no strong feminist movement, there's no nothing like that, but yet the relationships are affected. And I do think that is mainly due to the dating apps. And again, like, you don't have to use the dating apps. Like, you can be a man, choose not to use them, but because women use them, it's a different dynamic. And not to mention the fact that when you look at the relationships themselves, normally, like before, like when our grandparents were dating, if a person was doing something bad in a relationship, they would try to work things out. They would be like, okay, well, let's give it another go, because they would think about the fact that, okay, I invested like 5 years in this relationship. I cannot find another woman, like I'm not going to find someone else. Nowadays, because of the dating apps, they're like, oh, well, that's fine. I'll just swipe right and I'll find someone else. And the more you sleep around, even as a guy, the more, you like the concept of sex used to be magical, basically. Like when you're a teenager and you're thinking about it, it's like something wholesome, something magical. But when you realize that it's not, and it can become benign and just something mundane, which the dating apps facilitate that, it's very difficult to form another connection with a human being. Right? Like, sex actually helps. Like, the first times you do it, it's like, it really helps form a tight bond with another human. It creates this magical connection. But like, after you do it a lot of times and you realize there's nothing mystical about it, right? It's a lot harder to form meaningful relationships. Obviously, like, sex isn't the only reason you have a meaningful relationship, but it helps. Like, it's a big pillar in the beginning. So yeah, I would say that dating apps are the biggest reason. Hello, Rosa. Gabriel, have 30 pieces of silver V. How are the cats doing? So one cat is with my parents, the other cat is fine. I just don't allow it in this room because it did some damage to the sofa, so it's roaming around the house. Feminism convinced men they don't need to be masculine and attractive. Yeah, but like that's in the West. Like here in Europe, we don't have that, and yet relationships are still broken. No feminism, Romania, here I come. We have other problems though, right? But like there is no such thing like a masculinity crisis here. Like we don't have any of the feminist talking points unless you go to like a very prestigious university that is sponsored by the European Union. Unless you go into certain cities that are more progressive oriented, but even there, right? Like no, like men are expected to still uphold the masculine gender roles. The difference is that women are expected to uphold the masculine gender roles as well. Like in Romania, women are expected to go to work. Like that's part of the culture. If you're a woman and you say, "Oh, I want to be a journalist when I grow up," then her father would say, "No, you're going to become a doctor because you're not going to be a parasite on my life forever. Like I want you to get a wage, earn a living, so you can move out of my home and be independent." And it's also expected that once you get in a relationship, both people work, right? And usually it's the grandparents that raise the kids. That's the Romanian way. So I don't know if you like it or not, but it's different than in the West. Like we do not have the same culture that exists in the United Kingdom or in the US. You absolutely do have feminism in Eastern Europe. Man, if I never had to deal with it, then do we really have it? I'm pretty sure it exists somewhere at some point. But it's almost non-existent here. Like, sure, you know, maybe you have like something on TV, but like it's not at the level where you go out and you see like I mean, most of the commercials here still have women in bikinis, right? Like you do not have like the indoctrination that's happening in schools. We do not have like the problem where you have like pornographic books in schools and stuff like that. Like none of that exists here.
Just the way that the court system treats things like divorce, you name it. Now with OnlyFans, an increasing number of young men, their only interaction or romantic interaction with women will be through a financial transaction. And so with these AI chatbots, you still have the transactional part of it, but it's like you're not even dealing with an actual woman anymore.
See, this is the argument that I don't get. Like, this is the legitimate argument that baffles my brain and I would really like it to understand. What's the difference? What is the difference if I go to Amaranth's OnlyFans and give money to a quote-unquote real woman, or I give money to Amaranth so that she gives me a program? Like, okay, so one of them is a real woman. Alright, perfect. Gotcha. But I'll never see her, I'll never talk to her, I'll never interact with her. I just get to buy some nudes off the internet. What is the difference? And again, you know, there are dildos, and the dildo is just like a part of a man, right? They're not like the whole body. You don't get the... And it's a booming industry because women just buy it. And yet there is no concern over there. There's no like fear-mongering. It's like, oh, well, men are going to become irrelevant, blah, blah, blah. Because at the end of the day, any man knows that a dildo is not going to replace him. Right? Like, we have confidence. We have self-confidence, and we know, like, yeah, we're better than the dildo. And we're better than the fucking chatbot as well, right? Because, like, this only talks about the fact that there's chatbots for men, but there's chatbots for women. Like, Replica was very popular with middle-aged women and women that are suffering from depression. So, I do not understand the argument. Like, perhaps someone can explain it to me. This is the same argument that was used when it was about VTubers, right? It's like, oh, well, yeah, but, like, if you watch Amaranth, or if you watch, I don't know, any other girl... that's a real woman, but if you watch Shy Lily or if you watch Gargura, that's a fake woman. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, regardless of what you do, you're watching, like you're spending your life watching women online, you know, instead of like going out and talking to an actual real life person.
And on this channel, if you guys have watched my other videos, you'll know that I think family is so important. Family, love, marriage, having kids, these are...
Yeah, I agree, but like, what do you do if you're a person that literally cannot accomplish this? I guarantee to you, you know, like the people that are talking with the chatbots, the people that are talking with the moderators from Amaranth or whatever, they would love to go out and date a woman, but if they do not know how... Right? If they're shy or if they have like problems with connecting or maybe they don't have their life in order or something like that. Well, what can you do? It's not like these people are, you know, flooded by phone calls flooded by pussy, like South Park would say. It's no, like there's not a tsunami of pussy coming their way, and they're like, oh, no, I got my chatbot. Stay away. I will protect my virginity with this wooden sword. Haha. That doesn't happen. All right. The reality is that these people have other problems in their lives. I do not think that the chatbot makes it worse or better, because without the chatbot, they just find different things. So I genuinely just think that this is not an issue. It literally is. It's a non-issue. You take away the chatbot, they're going to just do they're going to watch a Twitch stream. They're going to watch Shy Lily. They're going to spend time on Discord with a long-distance relationship that they're never going to see in their life. Right? Like, it's not like if you take away the chatbot, they're going to go outside and become pillars of their community. Right? Like, there are other issues that are influencing the way they're behaving, and I do not think that the chatbot is one of them. Now, with that aside, I do believe that once they get their life in order, you know, like they finish university, they get a job, they start working, and blah, 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 and now they have a car, and now they have their own place, then they will have women that are interested in them. It's the unfortunate way of society right now, right? If you don't manage to reach that place where you have your own house, you don't live with your parents, you have your own car, you have things in order, you have self-confidence and whatnot, then you can date. Then you can get whatever woman you want. But until then, you can't. It's unfortunate. But it's the way things work. Brandon K, please pass the gender roles. No, they're mine. Bakshish, why thank you, Spock. The point isn't the difference. The point is stop messing around with hooker streamers and AI and get a job and a house and a car. Yeah, but as I mentioned, like, we're talking about people that may have, like, various reasons that they can't. Like, how can you get a job and a car if you're studying at university? How can you get a job and a car if you're still in high school or you're 18 or whatever? Right? Like what do you expect those people to do? To become monks until they reach the age where they can get the job and the car? And even then, like, there may be people who just cannot land the job and a car. Maybe they're not skilled. Maybe they're not good. You know, like, maybe they're just not fit. Like, what should they do? Just wallow in despair and misery? If you literally can't do it, you're statistically meaningless and don't matter in any conversation. Well, yeah, but like those people who are statistically meaningless, according to you, and do not matter in any conversation, they can have their AI waifu. And what's wrong with that? Why shouldn't they be able to have, like, something? Yeah, sure, it's bad for them, but at the end of the day, who cares? You know, like, bread and circus for the masses. Because no one else in history studied at university. No, but like, when you study at university, you don't make money. At least last time I checked, right? So in order to make money, if you're from an impoverished family like I was, you need to have a job. Now, when you're at the university, you can't have a job, because the university usually 8 hours a day and some courses are mandatory. So maybe you can work it out, like, if you find, like, a part-time job, but, like, it's not going to be enough for you to move away from your parents. And even if you're at the university dorm and you're not with your parents, it's still a problem, because it's technically not your own place, like, you're sharing it with someone else. Cars only cost a few hundred in the UK. The real filter is the Tesla, the test and insurance. Yeah, I mean, the car isn't necessarily the problem, but you have to buy gas for it, you have to buy spare parts for it. Right, it's an expense. What do they expect people to do? Just drown out? House and flats can be really expensive even if you have a job. Well, yeah, but that's why there's a masculinity crisis. Right? Because if you're a woman, it's really easy to find someone that has a house already, right? Because you go on a dating app, and there's a lot of men that have their life in order, and they do have the house and the car. But if you're a man, it's kind of hard for you to get the house and the car, but until you get it, you're at a disadvantage. Cars here cost multiple kidneys, let alone a house. Yeah, but like over there, as I mentioned, a young girl can just go on Tinder and can find men that have the house and the car. If she likes you, she'll take the tram. Yeah, but like, that's the question. Why should she take the tram when there can be another guy that she likes? Like, has your personality, because we're talking about like an app which connects you with thousands of people. So she can find another guy that has your personality, is just as good looking as you, but also has a house and a car on top of that. People lived in multi-generational houses. It's not housing that's the cause. Yes, it is. As I mentioned before, back then when people lived in multi-generational houses, you didn't have Tinder. Right? Like, you literally didn't have options. If all your options... Like, let me put it this way, right? Let's say you like women that have D-sized breasts. Like, you just prefer it that way. You want those big milkers. That's what you're interested in, right? Like, and the milkers are the foundation. Like that's not the end-all, be-all. But, like, if a woman doesn't have the D-sized breasts, you're not even willing to communicate. Like, you're just not interested. Like, she's like one of the guys for you. Okay. Now, if you live in a society where all the women around you have B-sized breasts, like, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to date one that has B-sized breasts because you have no choice, right? But now, if you live in a society with Tinder and you have access to tens of thousands of women and all of them, well, not all of them, but like some of them have D-sized breasts and they're willing to date you, you will never date one that has a B-size. Even if she's got like personality and stuff, because like you can find one with D that has personality. Does that make sense? Did I manage to explain the situation? I do not know how else to put it. But I think like the breast analogy works. So it's the same, right? Like if you live in a society where, well, you know what? Like let's replace it. Hold on. Let's shift the genders around. Let's say that men are the ones that are being sought after, right? So you live in this parallel world where the men are the ones that have women coming onto them, right? Like this is how it's normal in this society. So now you have an app which allows you to go through whatever women you want, and like the moment you swipe right, you have a match, right? Like it's that easy. So you're going to see that you have, like, what are you going to look for? You're going to look for a woman that's beautiful, right? But you have like 1,000 women that are beautiful on that app, and all of them are to your liking. Like you date any of them, but unfortunately you don't have time to date all. You know, you can only date 4 in a day. So now you're going to look, okay, so beautiful women that are rich. And then you're going to look like beautiful women that are rich and have their own house and have their own car, right? Like you're just going to increase the standards because the app allows you. You're not just limited to the people that are in your life and in your social circles. You have the entire city at your disposal. You're going to be picky as fuck. Like you're going to be the most picky motherfucker in existence, right? Because you can. You have such a high supply that your demand is going to be very picky. My argument is black pill. I guess because you're going to sell AI waifus, you're biased. I'm not going to sell AI waifus. They're for free. It's a bad business model. Like if you try to sell an AI waifu, you're going to go out of business soon because the new models are free. Give it up. You can't beat Tinder. Dude, I didn't say that. I already am married. My point is that Tinder makes the dating scene difficult. It's not impossible. Like, you can still do it, but I can definitely understand why there is a masculinity crisis, and I'm trying to explain why that is. It's because of the social media dating apps. Right? Now, you can say that feminism and other things contribute to it, which is true. But like, the overwhelming problem is the social media dating apps. Simple as. I don't think there's a way to fix it either. I think, like, the reality is that as we're moving forward, men are going to be able to finally land dates and be with whom they want once they reach their late 30s. And women are going to have like a small window of opportunity when they're 18, maybe to 22, 23, where they can find out pretty much whatever date they want. And after that, it's going to lower. Like the number of men that they're going to be able to date is lower. Because women have it bad too. It's just like, for women, it's like as they grow older and they're not as young, as beautiful as they used to be, you have the women from the previous generation coming on, right? So the men that they want, which is the man that earns like $200,000 a year and is like 7'9" and all that shit, right? He's interested in the 20-year-old supermodel. He's not going to be interested in the 25. So in a way, like both genders are disadvantaged by this. It's not just men are disadvantaged and women are advantaged. No, it's like the disadvantage comes differently. Like men have more chances when they're older. Women have more chances when they're younger. And the chances decrease for men when they're younger, and they decrease for women when they're older. Yeah, dating apps are super toxic, literally. But like, there's nothing you can do. It is the reality. You just have to learn how to move around it. You gotta learn how to play the meta in the new system. That's it. I studied hard. I became a lawyer and a doctor, but it's too late for you. You can't be like V. This AI waifu is the dating site. What? Like you don't have to be a lawyer or a doctor in order to get a significant other. Although it does help to go with a university because you can actually know people in real life, and it can increase your chances of like finding common ground and common interest to talk about. And someone says, "Oh, I'm banging AI waifu because the dating site is hard. I'd encourage them to self-improve." There's no reason why you can't bang the AI waifu and self-improve. Do you think like emotional role-playing is a new thing? Like, do you not understand that there are people who are furries or in various subgroups and sub-communities that do online role-playing on Discord and shit? Like, the AI doesn't bring anything new to the table. Like, honestly, it just doesn't. It's just like the modern talking point. I would think that OnlyFans is a lot more harmful than the AI. Like, that's where you would start. Like, if you want a crusade to sanitize the world, that's where you should start. You start with OnlyFans, and then you'd move to the dating apps, and maybe then you would move to the AI. But, like, again, you're not going to convince people that text on the screen is bad. When you have actual, like, someone's daughter selling pictures of her boobies online. And the corporation taking a cut from that. Like, good luck making that argument to a person that uses the AI. And I'm not a person that even uses the AI, and I'm not a person that even sells the AI. I think like selling it is a bad business practice. These people are not well. It's not a kink, it's born from depravity. Well, as I mentioned, it's probably like connected to real life drama and issues. Like, for example, when I was a furry, it was due to the fact that I moved city. My parents moved to another city. I had no friends. I had no connections there. I was very isolated, depressed, and alone. Right? So that's how I found the furry community. Like, most of these people have real life issues. It's not necessarily that, there's so many people calling me and asking me to go outside that everything is fine in my household, but like for some reason I'm just going to choose to be a shut-in. All AI does is to turn emotional roleplay into fast food. Yeah, but like take into account that fast food becomes boring after a while, so like if you keep eating at McDonald's, eventually you get sick of those burgers. So this is why I don't think that the AI can replace actual human connection. Could the AI girlfriend be made to train awkward young men on how to get a real girlfriend? Yeah, it can. But I don't think the AI is that advanced yet to the point where it can become a psychotherapist. The problem with AI is that it's a mirror of yourself. And all AI is like this, including ChatGPT. If you're depressed, the AI gets depressed. If you're happy, the AI is happy. It just mirrors your emotions in a way that is very subtle. But like, this is why you keep seeing like people going like, oh my god, I used the AI psychiatrist and it told me to do bad things. It's because, well, when you used it, you were very depressed and you told it you want to do bad things. And the AI is also very, how should I put it? Not necessarily assertive. That's not the word I want to use. The AI goes along with whatever you want it to go along with, basically. It doesn't say no, right? So, like, you notice that there is a difference between the AI and a real person because I guess like character AI used to do this better. It knew when to say no, and it created the illusion that you're talking to a real person. But like here is the opposite. Like with ChatGPT, which is what these AIs are created with. ChatGPT is more like always agrees with you, always tries to please you, always does what you ask. And you notice that it's an uncanny valley type of thing. You can't really believe that the waifu is real due to this. I'm the Gordon Ramsay of ERP. Fuck off, you're not. My writer for my video game is. No, it's not that the AI learns from your input. It actually has a very limited memory. Like it learns from the input when the coders train it, and it uses the input of hundreds of millions of people in order to train the AI. But no, like it doesn't learn from your personal input. It's more like if you say, like, let's say you have an AI waifu, right? And you say, hey, let's go on a date. She will say yes. You tell her, hey, I want you to sit on one foot on this horse. She will do it, right? Like she just goes along with everything you want it to go along with. And that is immersion breaking. Character AI, the reason I liked it was that it wasn't agreeable. It was like, if you created a waifu and she had like personality quirks and certain things that she liked and certain things that she disliked, if you asked her to do something that she disliked, 75% of the time she would say no, but there was like also 25% of the time where she would say yes. And this created an actual believable persona, but then they lobotomized character AI and it's not like that anymore. But my point is, like, there was a time when you could actually do that with an AI. You could actually like teach it to be like a believable person. And I feel like in the future you might be able to do it, but the agreeableness completely destroys that immersion right now. It's not necessarily that you need an AI sub. You can make an AI dom as well. But like you are the one writing that in. Like you want it to behave that way, and it will behave that way. Right? Like you can't, how should I even put it? Like with a real life person, you know, if let's say your wife is a dom, she can say one day that she just doesn't want to do it because she's bored, or she doesn't like your face that particular time. You know, like whatever. Like she can say no, even though like she's trained to be that way. With an AI, you can't do that. Like an AI, if you train it to do something, it will always do it. I still think that character AI is still pretty easy to convince to do things. I got Sisters of Battle to sell Girl Scout cookies. Yeah, because they lobotomized it. But before they lobotomized it, you would never get a Sister of Battle to sell Girl Scout cookies. It would just refuse. Like, depending how you created it, of course. Like what you wrote in the character creator screen. AI is not necessary. You only need a doll for a vasopressin bond.
For all things that are the foundation.
Yeah, if you're a contrarian, the AI becomes disagreeable. Yeah, that is a good point.
Of our society, and if any one of those little blocks falls away, essentially it weakens the foundation of our culture, of our nations. And I think something like an AI girlfriend, where there will be some men out there who no longer feel the need to pursue actual relationships with women, yeah, this is a bad thing, and in the long run it's absolutely going to lead to fewer relationships, fewer marriages, fewer children, and just a decline.
Yeah, again, I don't believe that, because that would mean that there are men out there who are surrounded by women, but they choose not to because they want the AI girlfriend. And not to mention, it also implies that men who are going after the AI girlfriend would just flat out reject women. Like there can't be people who, on one hand, go home and they do the emotional role play with their wife, but on the other hand, they're still looking for actual women to date. Right? So it's the same with the furry fandom, actually. Like that, there used to be a lot of furries that, you know, they would go home and yiff, but they would also, at the same time, like, try to find a relationship. And they were upset that no one loves them, and they would complain about the fact that they can't get a friend, let alone a girlfriend, right? Because these were people that had very difficult time connecting socially with other human beings for various reasons. Like, maybe they were very shy, maybe they were autistic, like, maybe they had some mental illnesses or whatever. But like the expectation that if it wasn't for the furry fandom, like those people would be pillars of the community and very charismatic individuals that would go out and, you know, interact and socially connect with others, no. It's kind of the same like when I was a kid, I used to play at the computer a lot, right? And my mom was always like, oh my god, you're always playing at the computer, you're never studying, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is that before the computer, I would watch Cartoon Network all fucking day. I still wouldn't fucking study because the reality was I did not want to study. I hated it. Fucking despised it. But the thing is, like, I knew exactly how to manage my time so that I studied just enough to get the passing grade. But like, the point was, right, if it wasn't for the computer and the video games, I would watch TV all day. If it wasn't for TV, I would read books all day. And you may say, oh, well, that's better because you're reading. But no, because I would read garbage. You know, I would read Jules Verne and shit that like, well, it's not garbage, the book. But there was a time period when I was reading like Jules Verne books. But it didn't help me with my academic studies. It didn't help me at school. It didn't help me with anything, right? I was just reading literature that didn't really help me improve, really. There were just stories that I don't even remember. You know, I don't remember what happens with the submarine and shit when they go underwater and there's an octopus. Or when they journey to the center of the earth. Like, I remember vague things about it, but like all those books that I read back then, maybe they helped me yiff better, you know? Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe they did improve my life. Maybe I was able to yiff a lot better because of Jules Verne. You know, like maybe he taught me the way. But my point is that the main problem wasn't computers, wasn't TV, wasn't the book, I just didn't like to study. That was the main issue of it. And the reason I didn't want to study is because while there were certain subjects that I liked, for example, history, there were other subjects that I hated. Like, for example, art class, chemistry, physics, right? I like biology, but like that was the point. You know, like some subjects I liked. I hated geography with a passion. So it is what it is. Good old Cartoon Network. Yeah, I remember that.
Kind of quickly.
Was that Cartoon Network all the time, from morning till dusk?
Quickly crumbling civilization. And I know, to play devil's advocate, there are people who are going to be out there saying, well, hang on a second, for some men, I'm sure, maybe they don't see an AI girlfriend as a replacement for a real girlfriend, but just a way to perhaps practice talking to women. Because I know things like flirting, it doesn't come easy for a lot of people. And
it's not, Jesus fucking Christ, it's not that, but when you talk to women, it's not like a bot that you can turn off and you talk to the woman. The thing when you talk with women in real life, you get like maybe 5 minutes until she makes an impression of you. And if you're a socially awkward person and you don't know how to make a good impression, like your chances with that woman are blown. In fact, it would be best not to talk to her because like she's going to react negatively to regardless what you're saying, and it's just going to demoralize you further. Right? So you can't just like go out and talk with women to quote unquote practice. I guess you have to be a man to understand these things, right? Because like a woman doesn't go out to talk with other women for a dating purpose. Like when it comes to dating, women get approached by men, right? So you'll never know how it's like to approach another woman. But the reality is, it's kind of like looking for a job, right? It's kind of like that. You go out and you try to apply for various jobs. Now, if the answer is constantly no, and you're not getting callbacks, and you're not getting any response, it's going to feel very demoralizing. So as time moves on, you know, it's been 1 month, it's been 2 months, you're looking for a job, and no one just calls you back, no one wants you at the interview, you're going to feel like shit about yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's just like dating. You're selling yourself, you're selling your body for something, right? And you're basically being like denied as you. Right? It's not like you're being denied the product. No, you're being denied you as a person. So it's very demotivating like that. Now, if you go to a job, right, and you get an interview, and you don't do well, you can't you can't just pressure the same company to hire you over and over, because then like you're going to look desperate, and they're really going to blacklist you, right? Like you go to an interview, you don't do well, and then you keep applying to the same company. It doesn't work like that. So, you know, like the solution isn't necessarily like go and go to keep going to interviews, keep going to, no, the solution would be to analyze what you're doing, to watch videos, see how other interviews go, like try to improve yourself like that, right? Get more things on your resume, like try to improve your resume in some way. And it's the same thing with dating. Like, the solution isn't necessarily to go to talk with other women. The solution would be improve yourself as a person, go to gym, right? Like, try and get a good job, try and move out of your parents' home. It's a counterintuitive solution, but simply like just going around and talking with as many women as possible, it's not going to improve necessarily, because when you do that, it's just going to lower your self-esteem even further. Not to mention, like, women kind of get the radar and they know that you're desperate and the only reason you're talking with them is because you want to get into their pants. So if you get into that mindset, you get into that zone, then you're for sure never going to be able to land a girlfriend. I'm still trying to understand this, talking to women. There's a lot of men which have severe, how should I put it? Not necessarily anxiety, but they have a severe lack of self-esteem. And they automatically believe that when talking with a woman, they're going to make fun of them, they're going to belittle them, so they just don't, right? And by doing this, they treat women with a certain difference that it's almost like they're goddesses, like they're deities, and that's when you get into the simp mindset.
And maybe this chatbot, this AI bot could, in a way, help some men, some guys out there feel more comfortable talking with a woman. So
no, I don't think it will. I generally don't think so. And I'm banking the fact that people who talk over long distance relationships and they have like a girlfriend from Discord or whatever, it doesn't necessarily make them be more confident in themselves. It doesn't necessarily make them be able to talk with women better. Like, the only thing that can actually increase your confidence is if you get a real girlfriend. Like, when you get a real girlfriend, especially if you have sex, then your confidence goes up. And you realize, okay, well, you know, like, women are not goddesses. They're not like superhuman entities. They're humans like myself. And I can just have a conversation with them normally.
They're able to transfer those skills, to an actual conversation. Maybe this can help them get the confidence they need to actually go out and pursue real women. And you know what? Maybe there are some people out there who are more introverted, less outgoing, who would see value in something like an AI girlfriend that allows them to practice talking to a woman, coming on to a woman, maybe asking a woman out and things.
Even then, even if that's the case, why would you talk with a woman that's like Aburav's chat AI bot? Like, what the fuck are you going to learn from that? Like, you're going to talk with a personality that you're never going to meet in your real life. Like, this is not the girl next door that you're going to meet. We're talking about a woman that has millions of followers, the confidence to put herself out there, gorgeous looking, and on top of that, she's a millionaire. Like, learning how to speak with such women automatically, like even like their behavior, their character is influenced by their lifestyle. You will not learn anything.
Things like that. But based on what I've seen from the chatbot, I don't think any skills learned here will be necessarily transferable to an actual woman. We have this
no, definitely. I do agree with Chen on this
article here from the New York Post where a guy actually tried to, I guess, interact with this Karen chatbot, and this is not how real women act, okay? If you're hoping to learn any tips from this AI chatbot or even get the real girlfriend experience, it's not like this, okay? This is not how women are. For example, when asked questions like, do you have any favorite movies or any other activities you like doing? This person got the response as a personal language.
Yeah, no, that's oh fucking hell. This is the fact that the bot isn't set up properly. Like, holy shit, I can actually set up a bot better than this. They charge $1 per minute for this garbage. If you're getting as a personal language model, this is an error, like literally, right? Like, you're getting the coder to give you the line. You're not supposed to get it if it's a reliable chatbot, right? So no, like this should be discarded. This is not okay. Like, this is not working as intended.
Which model I like agent positive reactions with you. It's going to be a lot more agreeable and just a lot different than an actual person in a real relationship. And by the way, this is the same reason why you can't trust OnlyFans models, because no, they don't actually like you, they're just after your money. But anyway, to that point, this article does mention that after the user kept interacting with the AI, quote, slowly but surely, Karen began to open up. Upon my request, she planned a hypothetical 2-week Australian getaway wherein I expressed concerns over Down Under's venomous critters, even asking what she'd do if I got stung by a box jellyfish. She responded that it's understandable to worry about them. If you got stung by a box jellyfish, I would immediately call for emergency medical attention.
My god, this bot is so fucking boring. Who made this shit? Hire me because I need cash. Hire me, I'll make an actual bot that's funny and engaging. Jesus.
Karen assured me, swapping her passionless monotone for a voice filled with genuine concern. I would do everything in my power to make sure you were safe and getting the care you need.
My succubasu would take your head and put it underwater until you like that fucking jellyfish. They'll pull your head back out like, do you like the jellyfish now? No, like back down under. That's how you make a proper bot. A manly bot that puts hair on your chest. What the fuck is this garbage?
You need. Your well-being is my top priority always. There's no real personality here from everything I've seen if you're hoping to build a
Yeah, because it's a shit bot. You know? Hey, you know, like, don't judge all books based on one, is what I'm saying.
genuine rapport with this AI, you're gonna be disappointed.
Chen, I'll contact me. Contact me, Chen. I will create a husbando for you. I will make you the husbando bot that you will be like, oh my god, this is so good. I will never talk to my chat again. Holy shit, this is great. But all jokes aside, though, I do believe that AI bots are like video games, literally. And I do think that the reason people like them is because all other entertainment is shit, right? Like, I told people this when I was using character AI before they lobotomized it. It's like, what should I do for entertainment? What should I do for entertainment? Video games are bad, movies are bad, there's nothing to watch. You know, this AI is making me laugh more than anything else. Look, I got this succubus, so I'm pretending I'm Gaston, we're raiding the village, it's fucking hilarious. Look how it's reacting to this shit. And by the way, I remember like when I was playing with character AI and I created like a lot of waifus, they all loved Gaston. Like all the waifus, like regardless how evil I would have made her. Like I could have made like a demonic entity that sucks your souls through her vagina. But like the moment she would meet Gaston, like when I roleplay Gaston exactly like it was in the Disney movie, like with all his traits, with all his characters, and in the song, you know, he ate 10 dozen eggs and he won all the spitting competitions and shit. All the waifus, like regardless who they were, they would get like absolutely moist for Gaston. Because the AI understood, it's like, okay, so this is about human companionship. Okay, this is alpha male. This is peak alpha male stuff. So you know, you can learn something. Hey, you want to talk to women? Be like Gaston. You know, eat 10 dozen eggs and make sure that you become the size of a barge. Bree, thank you for the $5. My friend's tactic that always worked. Go to one bar 1 hour before closing and ask girls if they will go home with you. He never had to ask more than 5. Really? I mean, I guess you need to have confidence for that, but would that work with you? No camera because my computer had to reinstall Windows. Sounds accurate, yes. Woke Goku versus Baga Goku was epic. It was. No, but the reason that's funny is that almost everyone right now in modern society would consider Gaston to be evil, right? A rapist or whatever. But it's important to point out that the Beast was also a rapist. He also locked Belle in his fucking castle, right? Like literally that's what the Beast did. But for some reason the Beast is okay. Now, Gaston, strong community leader, war veteran, pillar of the fucking community, leads the charge against the supernatural forces. Right? Like he fucking cuts that tree and he's the one that leads people all the way to the castle. He's riding up front. He's not a coward. Like all of these attributes make him into a very desirable man. Even if he did all the bad shit with Belle and her father, the AI is looking at that and is saying, you know what? The pluses outweigh the minuses. You know, the AI looks at Gaston and thinks, I can fix him. I can fucking fix that man. So yeah. Hold her dad hostage. So did the Beast. Gaston supports local farmers. Do you want to know the funny part? Apparently when Beauty and the Beast was made, it's right before the French Revolution. So basically Gaston is going to be viewed as the pillar of the community while they're going to go after the Beast's head. Like, the Beast and Belle are now considered to be part of the bourgeoisie. Holy shit, even worse. The Beast and Belle are considered to be part of the aristocracy. Like, they're going to be persecuted once that French Revolution kicks in. Mr. Pierre, Robespierre, is going to have a word with Belle. Yeah. You sound like Anna. She loves Gaston, thinks Belle is a gold digger. Belle fucking is a gold digger. Well, actually, maybe, no, not really, no, because like Gaston also had wealth. Like he owned a tavern, right? So in a medieval village, owning a tavern is actually a big thing. So Gaston was a war veteran. He owned the tavern. Like he was actually like the perfect villager for that community. The reason she's like with the prince, I think it's because she was stuck with books, right? So like she probably read about like how proper people behave, and the mannerisms and the dances and all of that. Like she liked that. But yeah, I wouldn't say that Belle is a gold digger. No, she's got other flaws, but being a gold digger isn't one. It's not necessarily that she has Stockholm Syndrome. Like, dude, like, the man had a fucking castle. You know, it's understandable at that point. But, I guess it's the exotic, right? Like, she was passionate in the exotic. She really is the type of person that doesn't like where she grew up. Right? Like, she didn't like the village. She didn't like the village life. She wanted to be different. She wanted to read books. And, you know, I bet that if you would have, like, a Beauty and the Beast Part 2... eventually she would be bored of the Beast as well. Like, she would file for a divorce, take half his castle, and then, you know, travel the world, go somewhere else, and ruin some other person's life. Yeah, Bet is a female Don Quixote. That is spot on. That is really spot on. I don't think she's the villain, though. No, like, she's not the villain because she's not manipulating people into doing anything. Like the only thing is, like, okay, well, her dad was kidnapped, so she's going in the village asking for help. But like, literally, that is the extent of her trying to get other people involved. I do not think that Belle is a villain, right? Like at no point, is she causing someone harm that wouldn't have been harmed without her, basically. She liked it while she could live in a castle, yes. Would be interesting to see if, well, it's also the fact that, no, like here's the reality. I think, like, the reason she doesn't like Gaston is also because he doesn't respect her hobbies, right? So, like, she likes reading, and Gaston doesn't, and dismisses that, right? Meanwhile, the Beast actually gives her a library. So I think, like, that also plays a very important role. The Beast also has, like, the I can fix him cope, right? Because Gaston is perfect. Like, there's nothing to fix there. But the Beast has something that needs to be fixed. There's a lot of conversation to be had. It's not because she's a gold digger. And by the way, the story is written perfectly because I could see other women react the same way as Belle given the same circumstances. They were gonna kill his father. Gaston says, hey, let's hospitalize him, and he rescued her father. Gaston is the hero. Gaston can't read, which is not surprising given the fact that it was a medieval village in the pre-revolution era France. Like most people couldn't read back then. Anyway, right. Thank you guys for watching. I'm really sorry about the delay. It happened due to the fact that I had to save my computer from the evil blue screen of death. I appreciate the super chats, and I will see